Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to NDISCO'S Village Meeting Podcast, where we talk about African society and culture. Your host or hostess is Dr. Maslina and M.OPARAOJI. Welcome to our episode 23, series 2. Today we are embarking on a very, I will call that entertaining but true topic. And it's an emerging one in the sense that many people haven't caught up on this, or it's been there, but it hasn't been named. So this discussion on this topic came about because in episodes 21 and 22 of series 2, I had suggested to my young adults who are professionals and have money in the bank, encouraging them to invest, especially the hyphenated Nigerians, diaspora ones who reside in all parts of the world. I've encouraged them if they can put their money into any African nation, not just Nigeria, as well as where they reside, whether it's in UK or in the US or Asian countries. So when I was doing that, I had mentioned one aspect to entertainment and music and, tourism all combined. And I had mentioned DETTY December. And, to just tell you how most of them are focused and learning, and they are always eager to answer or ask questions on things they don't know. So, two different ones, smart, young Nigerians, especially, it's called Auntie. We're interested in knowing more about this Dirty December aspect. And, one of the things they do for me is to make me crack my brains and go back, do research, and get myself acquainted with the subject more, which sharpens my knowledge and my skills. So I thank them for that. So today's topic is going to talk about that Dirty December or dirty, as the name connects. So we're going to look more into that. It sounds nutty, doesn't it? Yeah. But what actually is Dirty December? So I welcome you again and invite you to come along. And what I always encourage everyone, especially the African young adults, is that even if I talk about a particular country, I want you to really think about your ancestral home, your country of origin, and ask more questions. See if whatever you are doing in your hyphenated country can be replicated, where you can, or you also have access to, things. But remember, the best part of your life is that most of you are from many countries that offer dual citizenship. So it's always good to enjoy both. So, what is Dirty December? So, Dirty December, is a grown slang used to describe the high energy, event packed holiday season in certain countries. And I am going to focus on Nigeria and also talk about Ghana. And there's a reason why I'm throwing in Ghana. All these in West Africa. But it doesn't stop there. We know that a lot of what I'm going to talk about also occurs in other different countries, South Africa, Egypt, you name it. Um, so keep looking out for what you can see in your own country as you go forward. So how did this come about? It is a combination of the word dirty. Dirty is not in the case of being really, nasty or dirty. You know how the young ones coin their slangs. Some of them will be, so you are really bad, meaning that you are really good. You know how that flows. So they use the words in really funny ways. So when they say dirty, it really means wild or carefree. No, restrictions are limited, but it's not that they're not sensible in what they're doing, but they are really living life to the fullest, being free, as against the way their parents or their forefathers lived. They have so much in them now that they are exercising that freedom. And it's always with the festive month of December and maybe towards the beginning of the year. This term, Dirty December, reflects the essence of when we talk about travels, all the indulgences that go with that, fun, entertainment, or celebrations, social gatherings, parties, everything that goes with that, including family gatherings. And we're going to talk about that. So all these come together, memories are made of all these moments that are captured. Now, most people have their ready cameras, videos, and all that. And they are, as they are having this fun, they're really sharing that over the social media. So this festive period occurs from mid-December through the new year. It doesn't mean that there are no entertainments, other forms of that or tourism going on in each country of the world. But it's that this is very concentrated at this time, mid-December to January, where fun is packed. People have their holiday period or their time off of school and work, and they decide to use that to really go into fun areas. It's a time when many Africans, both within the home country, cities, when I say again, for example, Nigeria, so all the states of the country will travel home. Ghana, all their regions, people will leave the cities. Some of them leave the cities to go back to their country homes, or some of them will stay in the cities to enjoy this get together. Those in diaspora will return home to celebrate with family and friends. So, these recent uh, groups of people who sometimes are nicknamed IJGBs, which is an acronym of I Just Got Back. They are doing a lot with, bringing in foreign reserves or helping increase the foreign reserves of the nations. Remittances, for example, to Nigeria. The World Bank reports that remittances, for example, for the Nigerian diaspora during this period of 30 December accounts for 4% of Nigeria GDP and show significant spending power when these IJGBs, I just got back, people come back home. Okay. Although Dirty December is mostly associated with the cities, many of the retirees, or the returnees, also use this opportunity to visit their countryside villages. And I will expand on that, okay, as we go on. So that's this one. So how did this term come about, Dirty December? So it depends on who you ask. Some claim it originated in Ghana, others say it's in Nigeria. So let's take a step and look into why they say that. For example, in Nigeria, some claim that the celebration started after the 2004 Calabar Festival, which was termed Africa's biggest street party by Donald Duck. Donald Duck was the former governor of Cross River State. Calabar is the capital of that state, or was at that time. On another hand, um, according to Bella Niger, which is it's a magazine in Nigeria, and the Guardian is also a newspaper in Nigeria. They are also telling us that the term was coined and popularized by a Nigerian singer called Mr. EZ. I hope I'm pronouncing that well, who uses as a hashtag for his concert in Lagos in 2016. So Mr. Easy actually went ahead to trademark on this term, Dirty December. But also, it again, like I said, who you ask the Ghanaian in Ghana, the year of return, they think inadvertently birthed or gave, birth or gave a name to the tradition of Dirty December as a cultural pilgrimage to Ghana during the month of December. So the Year of Return is an initiative which marks the 400th anniversary of the arrival of, the enslaved Africans in North America. The aim of the Year of Return is to reconnect people of African descent with their roots. And this was launched in Ghana in 2019. But since then, it has been observed from mid-December also through the new year, just like the one in Nigeria is going on. And, this is becoming part of Ghana's history of attracting the global African diaspora. You see a lot of the celebrities of Black entertainers also always going to Ghana, not only to visit Ghana for tourism, but to also go to that spot of Year of Return to see where the slaves were kept or gathered or were returned. So this also has evolved in a significant cultural and economic event that draws millions of visitors each year. So that's the origin. So again, if you go deeper and start asking all the nations of Africa or anywhere else, they will have their own version of how they think the origin started for Dirty December. But on it all, the goals are the same: fun, 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 and entertainment. And while at that, they're making money. So what actually happens during this period? Um, Diverse events happen. Fun in house parties, street carnivals, beach parties, beach hangouts. Friends are all over the place having fun, concerts, weddings, nightclubs, and this is where people jump from club to club until down. One in the social media, when you watch some of these videos, you will, crack up, because one of them was one of the I think he was from Ethiopia, and swore he wanted to become a Nigerian. I asked him why. He said because the parties are out of this world. You go from one to the other, and each of the party scenes are a little bit different. That you're never bored, and you can get to almost five to six clubs before the break. And in some of them, actually, as you are leaving to go home, they're serving you breakfast. So that's how crazy it is. Um, but these are the actually the types of events that are going on during this period. Great concerts draw out numerous musical artists, organizations. They come out to host amazing performances. You get groups like Flavor, Whiskey, Davido. Majority of them you know, coming out to hold concerts. And, wherever these concerts are, everybody, especially the young ones, will be. Businesses also are not left out. State governments, the federal departments also, especially in tourism and sports and all that, they also stage all these concerts. Many upcoming artists also showcase. You see, upcoming comedians and all that. I allowed to showcase what they have. Okay. If you would like to know more about events planned for 2025 DETTY December, there are always information for each country, city, or village that that you want to visit. You can always go to the information superhighway, the internet, and you could Google and find out. Okay. Like we said before, um, sometimes it's mostly in the cities, but uh, before then, or even more so, these younger ones are also living to the suburbs, up to the villages, to also have fun. Because most of the time, when you talk about 30 December, people are looking at Lagos, for example, in Nigeria, um, um, the towns, Abuja, Calabar, Aba, Port Harcourt, Kano. Owerri is also begun to get hot, because as we progress, as the nations go forward, and people are beginning in diaspora are beginning to invest in home, what they enjoy out, they're beginning to bring back home. You see all these is sort of going further down, out to the further cities. These are being brought closer to home. For example, people in Imo State, where I come from, which is a state in Nigeria, used to have this entertainment further out, but it's now being brought closer to them. I remember once telling one of my young proteges who had never been to Nigeria, and she was, what else can I find? Because I heard so many things that further away. At that point, at that moment, was when another young investor was building a fast food restaurant in my hometown of Mbise. So I was sharing with her, I said, you don't even have to go to Owerri to buy the hamburgers anymore. If you just go from your home and drive a few minutes to Obe, which is a village close to home, you will find the fast food restaurant there, with everything you want. And which is what happened when she went home. She was able to buy pancakes and all that. But I wish they could do much better, because sometimes you get there, they don't have every item they have on the board. So this will bring people closer to home instead of going to the city. So, for example, for somebody from my own community of Mbise, we don't have to go that far anymore, as against the old times when they used to travel so far away. So when we talk about that, we're talking about Igbo people of the Southeast, for example. They use the homecoming, journeying home period to visit close friends and families. Both from the diaspora and the cities, they go home to their village and countrysides to celebrate the holidays and other festivals. In one of my past episodes, I also talked about um, um, the festival we have during Christmas, Eriguara. Eriguara, which means you come to my house and eat, you know, we, we will go to your house and eat. Eriguara means eat from me and I'll eat from you. It's a kind of camaraderie of coming together of friends, families, and all that. And you feel free to be eating from house to house, actually, during this period. So this is also part of Dirty December, but not in the flamboyant way that they do it in the cities. Okay. It is crucial, though, to mention that Dirty December focuses on urban city visits by Nigerian diasporas for festivities, concerts that have been long running and designed really to promote Nigerian musicians and international artists. Yeah. For the ones that are happening, for example, in Eastern Nigeria, where the majority Igbo population often tend to vacate most urban city centers during December, they come home. And this is the truth, the truth about that. That sometimes you come even to Lagos, where you have majority of this dirty December stuff happening, or major cities like Kano and Owerri. The ones in the west and the north, the cities are now dry. Why? Because the Igbo people will all go back up. It's part of their DNA of going to meet with family. One of my episodes talked about extended family practice and all that. Yes, it happens a lot in the Igbo land. It doesn't mean it doesn't happen anywhere else, but mostly. So people leave whatever they are doing, they stop, and then that's the period they come to come together with their own families. Okay. Um, it creates notable scarcity in most city centers. For example, in the West and North, unlike those cities, centric nature of Dirty December that is known in Lagos, now people are taking it out of there to other places. And some of these entertainers are following suit. So you see some of them coming to even play in some days. Remember, this is between December and January or New Year. You see also these artists moving these dates around to other places. So there are things like Nigerian Air Show, this normally in Lagos, the Experience, which is early December, that holds maybe, for example, in Tafawa Balewa Square. Calabar Carnival, that also holds in mid-December to New Year. Lagos Boat Regatta, it happens. There are regattas in the north, but the 30 December also follows sometimes religious festivities. So most of the time, they are in the Christian communities that are following the Christmas festivities. You have things like Rhythm Unplugged. This one is by December 21st. Eco hotels and suites are packed with people. Flight time fest between 22nd and the Christmas day, and also eco hotels. But like I said, there are many more that are out there. Enugu, Aba, all these places, um, these are happening. Entertainment is not only limited to this, all other West African countries or African countries in that. So you go to Rwanda, you go to, I have mentioned South Africa, Botswana, all those places, have all this entertainment going on. So let's look at the benefits of Dirty December to Africa, because everything that has happenings, there has to be some reason that we do that other than just entertainment. So in everything we do, we ask about the what, the why, the who is doing that, when is it being done, and again, how is it being done? So these are the questions that come up. But in this case, what are the benefits of it? So There are substantial earnings going on for African artists during this period, especially in Ghana and Nigeria, because that's where you hear a lot of about most of the artists. The countries most documented for Dirty December are these two countries. So I'm not ruling any other country out. Because the good thing about Africa is that when some things are being done in one part, the other parts tend to pick up and replicate that as well. Folks have likened the festive events. I think Davido said it. It's like uh, the crowd is like that of the Super Bowl, and Super Bowl is like football that is played by the American people towards the end of the year or early January. So when you liken that to that, it's huge. The influx of African diaspora back home during this prompted the scheduling of all this. So what you see now, people they have weddings, they move it to December. Funerals, those whose parents have been or family members died in even January of the beginning of the year, they now push it all the way and leave the burial till December. People are opening their new homes. The Easterners, for example, the Southeast are known for building, mansions and all that. That's when they hold those cultural initiations. Somebody's going to be made a chief on the or something. They move it to December. Why? Because that's when they will have their relatives who come home, people they haven't seen, and when they have the crowd that will join them in celebration of, whether it's joyful or sad one. And that will strategically synchronize with all these people coming home. Um, this is becoming true of those who do not even celebrate Christmas. So when I said, like in the north or some part of the west where um, Christianity is not practiced to really enjoy Christmas, believe me, most people in those areas also enjoy Christmas without even being Christians. And they also participate in Dirty December because young people, no matter what religion and all that, fun is fun. So we don't rule that out. Some of these events, believe it or not, either last hours or days. Okay. And then sometimes the after party is like after the burial, then there's a party after the wedding, not even counting the parties before, there are parties after. So it's party, party, party. And during this period, all these African visiting home, these diasporans, hyphenated Nigerians or Ghanaians or hyphenated South Africans, they flush the continent with foreign exchange. So the respective governments welcome the foreign exchange influx and its impact on their nation's economy. Remember when I said, for example, for Nigeria, 4% of all these, and this is a documented one. I believe it's higher than that because the exchanges that go on and the black market, it's not accounted for. It's even more. So the benefits of this is that money is flowing into um, the country like crazy or countries, and that's good. But sometimes it's bad. So wherever you see something good, there is also the other side of the coin, something that is not so good. And the downsides of Dirty December to Africa or Africans is that the display of wealth in most cases contrast with the prevailing economic hardship of the locals. So you see a club that is situated in an area where people are living in slums or people are begging for food on the street or hawking stuff, it doesn't tell a beautiful story. So that happens. And some of the original residents close to these festive arenas, they frown. And you could understand that because they are shut out of their cities and homes. I don't know if any of you have watched where some of these activities happen. Cars are packed from head to toe. Um, and these are all types of cars in the world. And sometimes these are parked on people's farms that are really trying to eke out a living from their farms and not minding their reaction, and that's not good. There is a hike in price or prices during that December period. Things go so high. A bag of rice will then double its amount. And worst of all, the traffic generated is a nightmare for the local traders and people whose life is running back and forth to the market to live off of their little profit are stuck in traffic forever because all these people, the influx, are blocking everywhere with their cars. It becomes a security risk as well for visiting homestead and visiting diaspora activities or festival attendees. So whether you are coming home, for example, when I mentioned coming home, the Igbo people coming home to their communities or their villages or their local cities from the big cities that they live in, for example, somebody coming from Lagos to be sent my community, there is always security because um, the roads are not that safe for that long distance. And those of them also coming from outside of Nigeria or outside of Ghana, going back to, if you're going to Accra, from Accra to wherever your village is, there is always security risk because we don't, well, these are not reliable. And, the holdups, and especially if you're coming where you don't know your way around, it's really difficult for you. Um, for foreign, non-African visitors who may not be very conversant with the environment, it is even more difficult because you don't know where, if you're stranded, who to go to or where to go. So these are some of the down aspects of this. But this is what happens in every place in the world where um, eh, things are not as they should be. For the first world, they can handle that, but I'm not even sure they engage in lengthy entertainment like we have the Dirty December from mid um, December to January or to New Year, because people really go back to work immediately after Christmas Day for some. But that's a different talk altogether. So, with all that we have shared, whether you are visiting African diaspora, hyphenated or whichever, or a non-African fun lover coming for Dirty December, there are things you have to know. There are things that you have to plan for. Ask the right questions. Be prepared before you come down for Dirty December. First, start early to prepare your travel documents. Your passports should be up to date. And those of you who are African diasporans who are lucky to be dual citizens, make sure both passports are up to date and travel ready, or you have your visas or in accompanying paperwork to show that you belong to both parts of the world. There is always a rush. It's Africa. These are African people that people always wait for last minute. I'm sorry to say that to go update their stuff. And some have really waited till that the morning of the travel to find, oops, my passport is expired or something, and they start running around. The embassy also, the people who work there, they have a life. So don't wait for last minute to go to your country embassies. Avoid being one of those people who wait for last minute. Start early to save for this period. And that's actually should have been number one. You start early. If you haven't started to save now for the December, you have to start now. Don't wait till 2 months or 3 months to the time, because dirty December does not come cheap. Many have traveled, to dirty December with underestimated amount of money because they underestimated expenses. Things can be costly: accommodation, food, and anything, souvenirs, you name it, transportation as well. Okay, so and even if you have the money, sometimes you may not even get lay hands on the transportation. I'm telling you that if you don't book in advance, to even get a flight within few days of Christmas is a nightmare. And some of these people who have underestimated all these, they have gotten stranded. Make sure you have a backup plan before you travel. Even if you are at home traveling from the cities to the village or to the community, is there anyone you can call to send your money if you're stranded? Do you have a backup, to withdraw? Please remember, credit cards are not accepted in many places. Some of us have had a bitter taste of that. Okay. So it's mostly the use of cash and or the country's cards. So most of the people have maybe bank accounts in Nigeria or in Ghana or wherever in West Africa or Africa. And when you have made it into the country on ground, any of these countries, be aware of your environment and those around you. Just like you, some of us who travel for work, we have that as caution. Everywhere you go, be mindful of your environment. Even if it looks so great, you never know what lurks around the corner. When we used to, the first time we even started doing work travel, we were instructed, even when you leave your hotel room and going downstairs to the lobby, or you want to just walk outside, we are one of those who will ask the concierge or the hotel people, which way should you go if you're going for a walk, or which way shouldn't you go? Those questions are asked everywhere in the world. So when you go to Nigeria or Ghana or any of those areas for Dirty December, ask questions. Beware of the identity of anyone offering you help, especially at the airports. No matter how generous and kind that is. Oh, can I grab your passport and go get you stamped, or can I help you? No. Stay in line. Ask other people question. Are they grabbing from other people? That's just what happens. It may not happen in the first world, but you're in a third world country. In all parts of the world, sometimes things are not necessarily what they seem. Okay. So even, I'm not trying to put fear on anybody, but caution everywhere. I don't care where I am, whether I'm in the first world, second world, or third world. Dangers are looking everywhere. So you ask questions, you make sure that you know what you are. You are alert and be firm, but not afraid. If it is your first time coming to experience Dirty December, for those of you who are non-Africans or Africans that haven't come home for a long time, or diasporan hyphenated, you don't speak the local language or anything, come with someone who knows the lay of the land. who understands the mannerism of the people in the country, the city, or the village, or do a proper homework of the area you are visiting. Okay, whether it's the hotel, you do a lot of research, especially the hotels. Um, don't say because they are cheap, they are better, or because they are more expensive, they are better. You got to just know where they are located, the transportation to and fro the places, the language being spoken. Is that something you can translate? Some people now have those little gadgets that translate languages. It's okay to have them, but still, um, ask about the food. Some people have gone places where they went hungry for days because they couldn't eat the food. You didn't ask the right questions. So, packing some snacks that could at least tidy you over is not out of the ordinary. Okay. So, these are the things I wanted us to talk about with Dirty December. It's always a fun time. I encourage our young ones to make it a point. Talk to your parents, talk to anybody else, uncles, aunties who are going. Believe me, some of the young ones who ask this question who have never gone, there have been experiences of people going and they want to go back again and again. There's something about Africa that pulls people back or pulls people, keep people going. Do not listen to all the old wives' tales and all the scary stories being told about this or that. Um, Remember, there are people also there. What you have to do is to be careful and not go flashy, or boast about what you have or you don't have. But if you are in good company where you are open, keeping your eyes open, keeping your ears open, just having the fun and don't provoke anything that you shouldn't provoke, you'll be fine. Okay. So this is where we're going to end tonight's or today's, well, it depends on where you are, tonight's or today's or this morning or afternoon podcast, and hoping that you're going to delve more into Dirty December as it's celebrated in your area. It's not something bad, it is all fun. And I wish um, cities or villages or communities that have not started tapping into this will do so and bring, this is how talents are developed. If you are musicians or you are holding stuff for people, festivities where, you know, people are challenged to take part in and have fun while at it, why not? And this can go beyond just the artists and just the dancing and clubbing and all that. It could go into the old forms of entertainment, of traditional dances, and more. So let's look into that. Dirty December um, is practically uh, new and growing, but it also sounds like some things that used to happen from the past, but nobody named them in this fashion or made them so attractive as to invite the young ones to also come and participate. So I encourage the young ones to look into that. Like I said in the past episode, is a good place to invest your money. You can think outside the box, like I always say. Think of something that you could bring to make Dirty December really entertaining. In the villages now, there are some villages don't even have movie theaters or somewhere where people can go and in the evenings get entertained. Um, why don't you look into that? Again, thank you for listening. I thank my followers and my subscribers. I'm still looking forward to more of you doing that. There has been increase in downloads recently, and I appreciate that. We are on Spotify, we are on all the podcast areas, and as well as YouTube. So please subscribe and get others to also look into that. Don't forget the spirit of Ubuntu. I am because you are. This is your hostess or host, like some people say, Dr. Maslin and NDISCO'S saying bye bye for now. Blessings.